Good morning on this Sunday, June 8th morning. Freaking gorgeous day again. Just a beautiful, beautiful day out there on this beautiful Sunday morning. And here I am. Coffee? Check. Cards? Check. Sunshine? Yay. Crystals. Surrounded by... Look at this little lovely. Look at this little lovely. So many of these small stores are not around anymore that were selling these in my area because the pandemic changed everything and people are still buying online. I'm looking at some of the stores that are shutting down in our area, and some of the big stores, some of the big outlet stores that came into the area are leaving. So Adidas being one of them, and I wonder because they were hit with break-ins a couple of times. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it. Can you imagine? So I guess you can. So here we are on this beautiful Sunday morning. We had friends over for dinner last night, young friends with their 3-year-old. Who was in a good mood for most of the evening, so that was nice. It was a short visit and dinner, barbecue, and I had a lovely, lovely walk in the woods yesterday. As usual, my go-to place just to ground myself, take a deep breath, because the energies. I woke up yesterday, the night before I'd slept horribly, and and I thought, geez, something's going on out there with energies and the magnetics on the earth. And then last night, I slept really, really well. Had I changed anything? No, nothing. I had changed nothing. Oh, crystals, check. So, I was lying in bed looking at my favorite sequoia trees out there. And one day I'll walk you over and have a look at them, and just musing upon life and the different things going on in the world. And now they've escaped me. Like, I thought I had important stuff to talk about. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just talking about regular daily life that we're all living. Oh, I know. I talked a bit about this yesterday when we were talking about when one of the cards I pulled was soulmates, and I said we're all soulmates out there. Everyone's playing their part. And I'm thinking about some of the things that are going on, that everyone's playing their part. Changes are happening that would never happened without, and I guess I talked about this yesterday anyway, but I guess it's been playing on my mind. The change wouldn't happen without that tension, right? Without that tension, without something to buck against. And so Donald Trump's really playing his part in getting people and countries to understand what is important for democracy, what is important for on a global perspective, which he doesn't like because he thinks that the States is the be-all and end-all and nothing else matters. I guess as president of the U.S., well, I guess you could do that if you were president of Russia. That's what he does. But even China is beginning to understand, well, China's always had a long-term plan. And Trump doesn't, and Putin had a long-term plan. But anyway, all the players are being shaken up right now. All the players are being shaken up because there's an understanding that, thank you, that we are globally interconnected. And when one rises, we all rise. There we go. That's when one rises, we all rise. And isn't that the message for us too? When we help others to rise, then we all rise. All the boats will rise up, right? So until we understand and fully embrace that fact that we are so interconnected. And Canada's the same. Alberta with its oil, and the people that believe it doesn't matter, carbon taxes, we shouldn't have them. What are we doing when China doesn't? But China's doing its bit as well. I'm just reading the trees they're planting. It's like, we can't ignore this. And just because we're in Canada, where right now they've had such a drought and there's fires, horrible fires going on in Manitoba, there's Saskatchewan, some spread into BC. This is an early fire season because of rain, not, winters that aren't as hard, don't have as much snow, and too dry. Excuse me. So, I know some Canadians, so I don't know them personally, that just don't understand what the big deal is. Well, the big deal is we're all connected. We're all connected. And if you have experienced that smoke coming from fires, from big fires somewhere else, then you know that we're all connected. That air just spreads. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not like someone's sucking it out and keeping it regional. The air currents move it around. So we are all interconnected. Our water, everything. You can't, do something, drop something in the ocean and then think, well, it's because it's over there. It doesn't matter. Or that it's over in Europe. It doesn't matter. It all matters. It all matters. And that's the planet we're coming to, where it all matters. Every life matters, no matter how small, from the simplest insect or slug, as I found out. When I walk in the forest on the trail, there's slugs crossing. And I started, you think I'm crazy. I look to see which direction they're going in, and then I pick them up and move them over off the path, because people don't notice them. They get stepped on, the bikes go over them, etc., etc. So I was telling my son, who's loves the outdoors, lives up in Squamish, about this, and he goes, well, the black slugs, he said, which ones do you save? And I said, all of them. And he goes, well, the black slugs and their little ones, are an invasive species. And then the big banana slugs, which are more yellow color, are natural to the area. And I said, well, I saved both of them. And he said, oh, good. But don't worry so much about the black ones. I go, I worry about them all. So every thing, from the teeniest microorganism that we cannot even see, that we don't even know is in our environment, in our natural, out there nature environment, is important on the planet. It all has a purpose, and just because you don't understand it or I don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose, doesn't play its part. Nothing on this planet has been put here by accident, has been created by accident, including you, including them, and them, and them, and them, and those over there, and those over there. Nothing's been placed here by accident. It has been co-created for a reason. So everything we need is on planet. Every solution, soul, SOULTION, solution, is there because it's there for our benefit. So how does it come about? It comes about through our desire to see that there's other possibilities, to know, to believe that certainly there has to be another possibility, that it can be fixed. Or you throw your hands up in the air and go, well, I guess we're doomed. We're not doomed. So for instance, I've had difficulty with my knees, and every time I'm like, I don't want knee replacement. I just think that it's brutal, archaic. Well, it's not archaic, but anyway. And that's just me. If you've had them, good for you. But I'm like, so I've just started doing different things and understanding what's caused it over the years. And it's more to do with the function of my body through injury, where my body's had to adjust and adjust and adjust. Isn't that life, right? We just make all these minute adjustments. We don't even know we're doing them until something shows up. Something beneficial or something not so beneficial. In the case of my knees, not so beneficial, but it gave me a wake. Like it, one day it clicked. I went, oh, this all came from my hips and my lower back. That's what did it. Nothing else. That's what did it. But it took years to do that, right? So then I'm like, oh, so before I had that awareness, though, I was doing exercises to strengthen all the muscles around my knees and my legs, every muscle that mattered. And still I was like, there's got to be something else out there. Well, that something else at the time was hyaluronic acid injections, which I've had done 3 times. And first time it was like a freaking miracle. Oh, cortisone's wonderful. Once you get over the cortisone hangover, it's like all the pain's gone. But some bodies get used to it. My body got used to it, and it was not so, because they would inject the cortisone first and then the hyaluronic acid. Take care of the inflammation first and then the hyaluronic acid, which would create a lubricant in the knee. So anyway, had it done 3 times, helpful, extremely helpful. But I'm still like, there's got to be something else out there. Because though it's helpful, it start to wear off and yada, 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 a whole other story. So I'm like, there's got to be something else out there. Well, there is. And it has been developed from the equine industry. Those racehorses get treated, the jump show horses get treated really well. And so consequently, they come up with all sorts of stuff. So it's called a hydrogel injection. And they've been using it in Europe for quite a while. The UK uses it instead of knee replacement, so they don't have to do it right away. They can hold off on knee replacement. And like the hyaluronic acid, you can do it again. Unlike the hyaluronic acid, it lasts longer, 2 to 4 years, like finding out that people are getting 4 years out of it. So I'm like, but it's just in Europe. I'm like, okay. Well, I guess one day I will get enough money to fly over to Europe to have it done. It's not expensive. Well, then I'm looking one day, and it's been approved in Canada. So there are 6 in Ontario, 6 clinics, same organization doing it, and 1 clinic in Alberta doing it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm not in agonizing pain at all. I manage it really well. But would I like to be able to walk 5 miles and not be in pain, not have to take pain pills? Right now I take Recovery, which is anti-inflammatory, but it's all natural stuff. Anyway, be that as it may, yes, I would. I'm like, okay, surely the doctor that was doing the hyaluronic acid injections in my hood who was a veterinarian before he became an orthopedic surgeon, is going to get this in. So that's what I'm waiting for. So all that to say that we are collectively co-creating everything. Everything. Think about stuff that you thought, wouldn't it be lovely if? And then somewhere down the road, it could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years, it could be 20 years. And suddenly there it is. Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be lovely if there was enough for everyone? Wouldn't it be lovely if we never had to worry about air pollution again? Wouldn't it be lovely if everyone had access to clean water? Wouldn't it be lovely if everyone could access health care in the same way, in the same good way? Wouldn't it be lovely if everyone had enough to eat? nutritious food to eat? Wouldn't it be lovely if everyone got educated in the way that they needed? Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be lovely? How does it get better than this? So there you go. How does it get better than this? So that's the story for today. That's the story I want you to grab onto and hold onto, that you are part of this co-creation, this collective co-creation. And your part and my part is doing part of this, is my out in my daily world. Other people are more involved or whatever. You can see where you're placed and what you have to respond to. And I say have to respond to, because everyone has a different response. And often it's a reaction rather than a response. It's a knee-jerk reaction. People get triggered. What are your triggers? And do you notice I notice my triggers pretty darn quickly. Not instantly. Most of the time I do instantly, but sometimes it takes a few minutes. I'm like, oh, there is one. So everyone's doing this. So the idea is to be more aware of yourself, more aware of who you are, more aware of your triggers, more aware of your thought process. Because the more aware you become, more conscious you become, more conscious being you become, then you're almost all the way there. Because that's what changes the world, right? In the way that we would like to see. Now, did we start out with everything rises? You can be part of that. Uplift everyone. Because not everyone's going to do this. But if you're watching this, you probably will, or you probably are. And so it's like the tipping point. We're after a tip. Read the book Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point. Fascinating. He's written a number of books. But there's a tipping point in everything. And so our society is currently in a Western North America, and a tipping point. Ukraine, Russia, tipping point. China, tipping point. Mexico, tipping point. Africa, there's tipping points going on all over the world. Did you think that it's just hapstance? That it's all happening at the same time in all these different pockets? Do you think that no, it's not. There's a reason for all of it. There's a reason for all of it, because it's a tipping point. So the tipping point is what is next. What is a collective, a human collective on this beautiful planet that we are on? If you are aware of some of this, then your awareness, you are the one that's able to lift all boats. You are part of that. You're part of that tipping point. The 100th monkey, as it were. You. Believe it or not. Sit with those thoughts for a while. Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys. So, here we go. Let's pull some cards. Okay. Celebration. So celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins in your life. Acknowledge when you've changed your thought process. Acknowledge when you've achieved a different result than you would have normally achieved. Acknowledge when you've taken that next step and you found yourself in a new spot. Acknowledge that. Sorry, I don't mean to. I'll give you. Put it down. Celebrate that. Celebrate the steps that you make. And if they're just little tiny ones, that's okay. Celebrate that, because you are making your step forward. Incremental steps until you find yourself in a new spot. Sometimes you make them and you're not even realizing you're making, and then you find yourself in a new spot and you're like, oh, look at where I am. Look at what happened. Celebrate that. And I'm hearing there's a worldwide celebration. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what the energies are, I don't know what that's about. But imagine that we're creatively co-creating, collectively co-creating. What would a celebration? What would that be about? In my world, I got all these little things to celebrate. Out there in the political world, now I can think of a few things, but I don't know. So let's focus on you. Celebrate the small things. Celebrate that decision to do something differently. Celebrate the fact that you noticed your trigger and you went, oh, as a trigger. And then you walk yourself back. You walk yourself back from that. You apologize if necessary. You go and acknowledge the other person, sorry. Sorry, I was a little bit sharp with you. When you notice that, then celebrate it. It's something to celebrate. So that's why being quiet, having time to sit quietly is important, because then you can kind of you create the space to notice these small things. And they're not small. They may seem small, but they're not small. Celebrate. Okay. And surrender and release. So we can only do the very best that we can do, right? Everyone can. And your best on a good day could be incredible. On a crappy day could be like just making yourself get out of bed. And that's the world right now. It's everyone, not just everyone. So when you think that someone's being less than, you don't have a clue what's going on in their life. Not a clue, right? Just getting out of bed and getting dressed might have been all they could manage that day. Dragging themselves into work was all they could manage that day. So what can you do in response to someone like that? Be kind. Give them something to be like, oh, good, something nice in my day, because they weren't expecting it. Do that, right? So surrender and release is like surrender the shitty stuff. Just let it go. Let it go. We're all doing our very best, and then you just do your best, and then you let it go. Release it into the world. And then let the world I'm seeing, I'm seeing when you pan for gold, right? Or the kids thing in the sandbox where they play with the sand. It's being sorted like that. Separating the wheat from the chaff, or the wheat from the chaff. Yeah. Panning, but that's an analogy. You know what? I like the panning for gold analogy better. We're panning for gold. So surrender and release. Do your best. That's all you can do. That's all the world asks of you, is to do your best. And acknowledge the fact that everyone's doing their very best in the moment they're in. When we know better, we do better. Oh, I just reminded. I was driving on 16th Avenue. The speed limit's 50. I'm doing 60. And most people do over 60. And this car, souped up, brum, 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 white car, whips by me and cuts in. And I'm like, so then I found myself right next to him at the traffic light. And I look over and I shake my head, and it's a young man, and he rolls the window down. And I said to him, nice car. I said, but maybe don't go so fast. And he apologized to me. So if I started yelling at him, who knows what the response would be? He apologized. I said, look, save it for the highway. Not here, it's too fast. He said, I'm so sorry, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Isn't that a great story? So you just don't know. You just don't know. And you just do your bit. And maybe my bit saved some poor squirrel crossing the road from his car. I don't know. We just don't know what it's all about, do we? We just do the best that we can in the space that we're in. So you do that on this beautiful Sunday in BC. I hope wherever you are that you can find a way to be joyful and find those joyful moments. And cheers to you. Hope you have a great cup of coffee, tea, beverage, whatever. I've been drinking non-alcoholic beer by Phillips, which is absolutely amazing. And I imagine when we get the free trade, that will be available across Canada. So go for your joy. And my lovelies, my lovelies, my lovelies, you are all magnificent beings of love and light, period. Every single one of you. Yeah, even them. Him, her. Yeah, even them. Okay, take care. Go for the joy. Linda, bye.